familia. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Please let me know in the chat if you see my screen in just 2 seconds, and we will get started. All right, can everyone see my screen? All right. Hello, hello. All right, beautiful. Listen, we are here on a Saturday and we are excited. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us today on this incredible, beautiful day. I don't know where you all are checking in from or what that is looking like or feeling like for you. It snowed a couple of days ago here in Chicago. And that was not very exciting. So really happy that today it is actually warm outside. So definitely after this, I'll be stepping out and enjoying that while we still can. My name is Pinky Ring. I'm really excited to be hosting and facilitating this portion of the Hip Hop Education Center's K through 12 guidelines. Before we begin, I wanted to just make sure that everyone has those guidelines because they are live and they are online. Martha, can you do me a favor and share that link in the chat for folks to access it? You do have to download it. We will be talking about some of these beautiful competencies that we have on here, particularly the ones for poetry as well as emceeing. But please look through these. There is incredible information that you can use in your orgs, in your classrooms immediately, right? It's ready to go. We are going to be working on a few other iterations of it, but this one is ready to go, and we would love your feedback and love to see how this is impactful for you in your classrooms. Before we begin, I want to make sure that I welcome us. Oh, my little flag didn't come up. It is Puerto Rican History Month. Let me stop sharing real quick so I could fix that. It's Puerto Rican History Month. So congratulations if you're Puerto Rican. And if you're not, welcome to the crew because you are today. Anyone that joins us in this circle, in this cipher, you absolutely are a part of the La Cultura and the culture. Before we begin, I would love to also wish everyone, oh, this is not working, also wish everyone a happy Hip Hop History Month. I saw some folks in the chat. Brr, 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 brr. It is the greatest month in the entire world because it's Hip Hop History Month and also Puerto Rican Heritage Month. So like November is for me, right? It was made specifically for me. And knowing that we now have our first Democratic Socialist mayor who also was a part of hip hop culture and was an MC, I think he should still continue dropping bars. Zohran Mamdani, aka Young Cardamom, and knowing that he was elected in Hip Hop History Month, y'all, we got some good things going on, and we are lucky to be a part of this beautiful culture, right? That serves each and every one of us. And so before, we already know hip hop doesn't, you don't get to choose hip hop. Hip hop chooses you, just like it did with our friend Zohran Mamdani. So before we begin, I want to take just a quick poll to see who's in the room and who's in the space. Thank you all for joining. We'll also do introductions shortly. Just so you know, this is sort of introductory. We're kind of scratching at the surface today. And then, hopefully there will be more of these different folks teaching, because the way IMC might be different from the way someone else, accesses that beautiful form of expression. So we're sort of scratching the surface today, going through some of the guidelines, but this will be interactive. So I want to ask that you please have, before we begin, a writing journal, piece of paper, access to something to write with, and a pen. Mine's is obviously pink, but whatever color works for you. Um, we are going to be doing some actual physical, like pen to paper. We're going old school with it. So I want to make sure we have access to that. And then just also have, a good beverage. I have my coffee. I don't know if you can see because I have my blurred, but I have my hip hop women in hip hop coffee mug. Get what you need, and feel comfortable in the space, so that we can begin and do this beautiful work together. I am going to. So technology, y'all, is not cute sometimes. I have never been the host, done a presentation, ran polls, try to play music. So please bear with us as we're figuring this out. We moved our format to Zoom, specifically because I wanted it to be engaging and interactive. So if you'll forgive me for just a quick second, I am going to drop a quick poll in the chat. All right. So I'm going to drop a quick poll in the chat, and I'm going to share my screen for some things, but also when I'm sharing my screen, I can't read the chat. So I'm going to on and off share and not. So as I'm looking through the chat, I'm seeing we've got a curriculum and instruction director that's Puerto Rican. The new executive director for the Hip Hop Education Center is Puerto Rican, and also our director of teaching and learning, who's in the Zoom with us today, Dr. Justice Lopez, is also Puerto Rican. So we Hip Hop Education Center, Martha's just surrounded by us. Like we are just, absolutely surrounding her and just in our love and in our wepa. Like it is absolutely culture for everyone. And it looks like it's also Native American Heritage Month. What a beautiful month, right? A beautiful, beautiful, beautiful month. So I'm going to share quick polls just to see who's in the room, who's in the space, who's doing what. So let's see. Oh, Martha, I think you might need to make me host again so I could do the polls. Y'all, Zoom is they need to make this much easier. Like I know that Zoom zoomed during COVID, and there are still some technical difficulties. Like it should not be this difficult. I feel like I'm trying to wear 12 hats, and that's not conducive to running a good workshop. So Martha, can you share the polls? There we go. Boom, boom, pow. All right. First question we are going to launch. So get ready. Our first question is in the chat. This is called our mic check. And this is our hip hop pedagogy question. How often do you use hip hop pedagogy in your teaching or learning practices? We have never, we have sometimes, we have all the time, and we have currently learning, because it's really important. If you are in the process and practice of learning, we welcome you and we're excited. So how often do you use hip hop pedagogy in your teaching or learning practices? All right. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to give it about 10 more seconds. All right. Beautiful. And here are our beautiful results. This is my first time running a poll, so I'm excited, y'all. Technology gets on my nerves, but I also like it sometimes. So I'm gonna be the master poll the director of polls for the Hip Hop Education Center, because this is fun. So I'm glad to know that there's no never, but also everyone is welcome in this space. But it looks like folks are at least in some way, shape, or form engaging with hip hop pedagogy in their classrooms. And that's dope. That's good to know, because it lets me know we don't have to start at ground zero, but it also lets me know that we are all experts in the room. Everyone here can share their experience and how they're using this in their teaching and learning in their classrooms. Thank you so much for that. All right. We've got another poll coming your way. We love a good poll. I was having so much fun last night making polls, y'all. It was so fun. All right. Okay, we shared the results. So stop sharing and close. Cool. All right, next poll. Let's go to this one. In the poll, mic check, mic check. Hip hop culture and identity. How connected do you consider yourself to hip hop culture? Do you feel disconnected? And if you feel disconnected, I pray that by the end of this workshop, you are feeling loved and connected and centered and rooted. If you feel like you're learning, if you feel like, you're connected, and if you feel like you're deeply rooted, go ahead and give me your answers to this poll. We will give it another 10 or so seconds. Ashe, ashe. Beautiful. Awesome. Here we go for the results. We've got no one feeling disconnected, and I truly feel like you wouldn't have been here with us if you felt disconnected, or maybe you were looking for connection. But I feel like the way that the hip hop community sort of embraces folks from the very beginning just makes me feel very, very good. We've got some folks that are learning, and we've got some folks that are deeply rooted. So thank you so much for sharing that with me. We're gonna go to our next point. Now it's easy. Now I know how to do this. I know how to work it, so it's easy now. All right. We've got our next question launching now. This is the mic check. I'm an MC, or are you not? What is your experience with writing raps? None. I've tried it. I've written verses, or I write regularly. So if you consider yourself an MC, maybe you write regularly. If you just sort of dibble dabble, maybe you write verses. If you've tried it a bit, or none. Thank you so much. Okay, participation is coming in. Y'all, polls are about to be my new favorite thing now that I know how to work them. Thanks for indulging me. All right, all right, all right. We'll give it about 5 more seconds for folks to answer. Ashe, ashe. All right, let's share the results. We've got folks that have tried it. We've got folks that have written verses. We've got folks that write regularly. Thank you so much for sharing. Again, this sort of helps me center the space and knowing who's all here. And this might happen in your classrooms, right? You might have young people that are starting, at the very beginning, and then you've got your high school PhD students where you're like, friend, you already need to be a doctor, right? And so how do we figure out how to create a space that is inclusive for everyone, but also how do we glean and gain this information from the very beginning? So thank you so much. Last poll, and now the easy breezy beautiful cover girl, because I've done this. Your next poll is coming to you. Why isn't it letting me launch it? I think they said that's enough questions for you today. All right, hold on. Let me close. Now it's not letting me launch. See, y'all? Let me just check the chat. Okay, more freestyling than writing. Perfect. Today we're going to definitely be writing, so get ready for that. Okay, stop sharing. All right. Last one, and we've got a mic check, vibe check. Where are we at today? Where are we feeling today? What is the energy we're bringing into the space? Is it lit? Is it coffee me, please? Is it I'm alive, I'm figuring it out? Or is it I'm just doing my best, Pinky? I really am doing my very best. I don't got much to give, but I'm here and I'm ready. Okay, we got a coffee me, please. Please go. If you need to take a break, we will have a couple of breaks. If you need to take a quick break and go get you some coffee, please do. Um, because, it's very importante. All right. And we are going to end the poll and let's share the results. We've got a good combination of it's lit and también coffee me please. So I think I'm sort of in the middle of all of these. I feel like it's lit coffee me please. I'm alive, I'm figuring it out, and I'm really truly doing my best. So thank you all so much for indulging me in my polls. You have now allowed me and helped me to graduate from Pole University. So I've officially made it, and I thank you for that. And if anyone saw the new season of Hunger Games, and now there's another like game show, if you've seen any of that, I really love this little graphic because I made it my own. I made it a hip hop poll, but Hunger Games is a crazy show, but I think it ended beautifully and cinematically. So now that we've got a vibe check, now that we know where everybody is at, now that we're feeling good, feeling great, let's do some introductions. I would love to know, and of course I had to do this in a rap format. So we've got what's your name? Where are you from? What do you create? Who do you love? Usually, I would do this in person and we would do this over a beat, right? I've tried many iterations on Zoom and like playing music and also talking at the same time. It's just they haven't gotten that together all the way yet. So you don't have to rhyme, you don't have to rap, you don't have to do any of this. I would just love to hear these answers. Please make sure you include your pronouns so that I know how to address you. And again, what's your name? Where are you from? What do you create? Who do you love? For example, my name is Pinky Ring. My pronouns are she, her, ella. Where am I from? I'm from Chicago by way of Puerto Rico. Wepa. What do I create? I create magic with words. I create and co create spaces of teaching and learning and love and radical care and abundance. And who do I love? I love my cats. I have two cats. Ray Charles, he is actually blind, and Beans, like Beanie Siegel. And they're both locked in my bedroom right now. So if you hear meowing at any point, it's because these children are savages. They don't let me do my work. They don't let me exist unless they are like on me, around me, as close as possible to me. But I love them very much, and that's why I've locked them up in the room because I wouldn't be able to do this Zoom workshop for 2 hours with them present. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to whoever would like to start and answer these questions and let us know who's in the space with us today. Anyone, anyone? Let me stop sharing so I can see your faces. You can also put it in the chat if that makes you feel comfortable. You can absolutely put it in the chat as well. Anyone want to start? Yeah, Andrew, let's go.
All right, y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So my name is Andrew Wang. I go by he, him pronouns. I'm from New York, but I'm going to be more specific. Woo! I'm from the 914, which is Westchester County, New York. That's how I do. I create beats with my mouth, aka beatboxing, vocal percussion. And I love my parents and overall my family.
Ashe. Thank you, Andrew. I'm so glad to see you in the space. Martha and I were just talking about you and like beatbox and we're gonna chat about some things. So thank you so much for being here, Andrew. Who would like to go next? Yeah, let's go, Ethan. Bow, 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 bow.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. I'm Ethan Benton. I'm here in Burlington, Vermont. Um, I like to play the drums, but I'm also trying out some like beat making stuff. I love my family. I've got my cat, and my partner Miranda here. Yeah, happy to be here. I'm glad to be connected with this stuff through the Modern Band Summit. And I've loved the guidelines have been helpful for me so far. So thanks for sharing that and working on that.
Ashe, thank you, Ethan. And we'll for those that have come in, let me just go ahead and recopy and paste. Or actually, Martha, can you? There it goes. Never mind. Got it. We're gonna put the guidelines back in the chat in case you haven't seen them yet. Please, you can access them. You could download them. There's two versions there. We will be going through some of the guidelines today, but want to make sure that y'all have access to that and that you are seeing it. Amazing. Thank you. And if anyone wants to drop their answers in the chat if you don't want to unmute. I learned this from the Zoom era that not everyone wants to be on camera, not everyone wants to speak. So if you want to drop your answers in the chat, you can. Does anyone else want to share? What's your name? Where are you from? What do you create? Who do you love?
Hey, peace, family, peace, peace. Justice tapping in. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, Pinky Ring fam. I just want to take a moment to express gratitude to you and your spirit and your energy. So before I jump on in, I just want to share your beauty and brilliance in the space with folks. For those who do or may not know that we're in the presence of an immense greatness and MC right here in the building. So want to give a brief overview real quick of Pinky Ring and just kind of give some intros and overviews for folks. So peace, y'all. My name's Justice. I support with teaching and learning with the Hip Hop Education Center and supporting Pinky Ring on this phenomenal guideline project. So for those who don't know, reintroduction real quick. Pinky Ring is a Puerto Rican woman MC, speaker, educator, author, and activist, artivist, hailing from Chicago. She first shook hands with the mic at the tender age of 15, which her love for learning the hip hop songs turned into her curiosity to try for herself. A tough childhood, troubled teens, and car crash all worked to mold this artist into a powerful MC that we have today. Pinky has captivated a multitude of audiences nationwide and globally wide, large international audiences, performing in Cambodia, y'all, Belgium, Morocco, Cuba, Spain, Thailand, Vietnam. The list goes on and on and on. Pinky proudly serves as a hip hop cultural ambassador to the United States as she travels with the State Department to facilitate cultural diplomacy programming and conflict transformation through music. Her rapport, her bio is unbelievable. So we're just so deeply, deeply thankful to have her here at the Hip Hop Education Center. So I wanted to give you those flowers, sis. And peace, y'all. My name is Justice. I'm checking on in from the Boogie Down Bronx. I create frequencies of love, liberation, and healing through DJing music and hip hop. And I love chocolate chip cookies, first and foremost. I love my wife. I love the creator. I love my family. I love funfetti cupcakes, and I love everything else in between. And I love hip hop. So grateful to be with y'all here in this beautiful space, and just deep, deep gratitude to y'all.
Ashe, thank you, Dr. Justice Lopez. I wanted to put the Bulls theme music behind you as you were going. Like, we gonna figure out the technology, but I feel like that was the I feel I needed to come out like, what? Who want what? Thank you so much for that. And just so y'all know, Dr. Justice Lopez is the Director of Teaching and Learning for the Hip Hop Education Center. My fellow ginger Puerto Rican and red hair Puerto Rican brother. I think we there's some roots there. We family for real. This is a cousin, uncle, auntie, something. I know it. I know it. I just know it. Thank you for that so much. Would anyone else like to share their introduction? What's your name? Where you from? What do you create? Who do you love? Anyone? Anyone? If you want to throw it in the chat, yeah, Prism. What
Peace,
up,
peace.
fam?
What's good, family? Pleasure to be here. Um, Man, Prism, originally from the Bronx, New York, by way of Puerto Rico. 30 years hip hop cultural education and arts. I was born and raised in this, learned from the pioneers, immersed into it my everyday life. Once I was about 14 years old and I realized it could help save my friends and family and brothers and sisters and cousins from the streets and the gang life, I started using it to empower them, personal and professional development. 30 years strong, still doing it. And of course, I love my international chosen and hip hop family, growing every day. Pleasure to be here with y'all. Happy Hip Hop History Month. Peace.
Ashe, thank you so much, Prism. So good to see you in this space. We need to do this in person, y'all. So don't worry, we working on it. But you know, this got to happen in person because the exchange don't exchange as the exchange needs to exchange when the exchange is in person. You know. Thank you so much, Prism, for sharing. Anyone else want to share? You can also type it in the chat, and I can read it for you.
I can share. I'm Christine. I am from Maryland. I live now on Long Island, New York, which is specifically Settlecott Nation land. And I am my pronouns are she, her, hers. I love my family and friends, of course, and I create I guess I create a couple of different things. I create writing for academic context. And yeah, I saw the Hip Hop Education Center screening the sixth borough, which was amazing. I wish I could go. But yes, um, yeah, those are the things I create, like academic writing, and I create like sometimes teaching, like when I was teaching, creating lessons, and I create fiber arts.
What? Yo, that's so dope. Thank you so much, Christine, for sharing. What a beautiful group of folks in the room. If you ever find yourselves in Chicago, holler at me. I'll take you to eat some jibaritos in Humboldt Park. If you don't know, that's the best sandwich in the world. Think of the best steak sandwich. I'm sorry for my vegans. They do actually have a vegetarian version that's fire. But think of the best steak sandwich in the world, lettuce, tomato, like delicious. And the bread is fried plantain. Get into it. To get into it. It is the greatest thing. Ethan, so you'll know, Scott, every time he comes to Chicago now, he makes me take him to go get a jibarito. So if you find yourselves here, absolutely taking you, and it's our Puerto Rican neighborhood as well. Try to make it before the end of the month. This is Puerto Rican History Month. All right, Ashe, Ashe. Thank you all so much for sharing. We are a mighty, mighty group, and just grateful, right? Like it's Saturday, you could be anywhere, and you're spending your time with us here at the Hip Hop Education Center, talking about these beautiful guidelines. So thank you so much for being here. Before we begin, before we do anything in any classroom, one of the things that I want to start by sharing with you all are agreements. It's commonly known as norms, but what is norm for you might not be normal for me. And so these are just agreements that I created for our session today. And these might change, right? If we're in an in-person session, these might change. If you're working with little kids, they might change. If you're working with elderly folks, as we know, hip hop is for the children and hip hop is for everybody. And so these agreements are just ways for us to honor each other in the space, honor the culture, and honor ourselves and how we show up in spaces. So the first agreement that I created for our space today is just honor the cipher. We're creating this space together. Each person contributes, each person listens, each person holds the circle in the cipher respectfully. So let your language reflect, radical care. Let it reflect, your truth and other people's truths. And let's just make sure that we are not using language that harms, excludes, or diminishes anyone. Our next norm is presence over perfection. We're here to try. We're here to do and try and fail and have fun. Some of us have experience. Some of us have no experience. Some of us are in the middle of experience. We're really here to have fun, right? And just try the thing. Because if we're going to use this thing in our classrooms, we have to be vulnerable enough to try it ourselves. So show up as you are, stay present, try things out, take gentle creative risks, and trust the process more than the final product. Our next agreement, speak your truth. Share what feels authentic to you in this moment. Your truth matters here, matters always, and you choose how much of it you want to share. Our next agreement is that stories are sacred. The stories shared in this space are offerings. We're grateful to have them. Protect them with care. honor the courage that it took for folks to share anything that they're sharing about their experiences, about their stories, about their narratives, and only share what isn't yours with clear consent. Clear consent. So don't share what someone said or what someone did or someone's story, someone's rap, right? We need clear consent before we're sharing anything outside of these spaces. The next one is rooted in the culture. All the work that we do, we're honoring hip hop's lineage, its history, and its people. The fact that, youth started this culture, the fact that gorgeous Black folks started this culture, and then and some Latino folks and some Puerto Rican folks, but just knowing and honoring the lineage of this, and that it goes back to Africa, goes back to the griots, goes back to Black American culture. We're so grateful to be able to be in this space and honor this culture that has helped and served all of us. So let's make sure that our creativity is staying connected in that and and connected to the culture, right, that birthed it. The next one is what I like to use in ciphers all the time is step up, step back. In ciphers, in classrooms, in trainings, in leadership programs, the folks that like to really take up a lot of space, and that there are folks that like to really not take up any space, and if they could disappear in the background, they would, right? I invite us to honor that middle, right? To step up if you're not usually used to stepping up, to step back if you're usually someone that likes to take up a lot of space, but also to make sure that we're sharing the space mindfully, challenging ourselves to contribute, this is truly a cipher, right? All the energy that we're all putting in is going to help make it what it is. Our next agreement, listen deeply and don't assume. So listen with intention and openness. Stay curious, ask questions, and recognize that we come from different realities, right? This is hard to do sometimes because if you hear something and you rush to judgment instead of thinking, I wonder where that came from, or I wonder what that person's experience or truth is that made them think that way, right? We can gently challenge folks, but we also should always try to listen deeply and try our best to not assume. We're human beings as part of human nature, but if we can in this space, let's try to honor that sort of dichotomy of, folks have their stories, experiences, the things that have shaped their worldviews, and so do we. How do we ask questions instead of rushing to assume? And the last one is move at the speed of trust, not the speed of light. We're building safety, we're building connection, and this happens over time, right? It grows through presence and consistency. It doesn't grow through, you all don't trust me just because I'm here and I'm very cute and I have pink hair. You're trusting me because other folks have trusted me. But again, that doesn't mean that you have to share anything you're not ready to share, and that there is no pressure, right? Even in the Zoom, if you want to throw it in the chat, if you would rather write on your own, if you would rather share in a different way, you can absolutely do that. So as usual, everything that we're going to do here is going to tie to our beautiful K through 12 hip hop guidelines. So as I've set these agreements, I just want you to see that these agreements already reflect what is existing in the guidelines. Here are the core values of hip hop that we probably know. And if you don't know, now you know. Ooh. We've got peace, love, unity, having fun, right? We're fostering an environment of calm and constructive interaction. We are encouraging compassion and empathy. We're promoting collaboration and connection. And we're cultivating joy and enthusiasm in learning, right? Do these not reflect the agreements that we already set? Absolutely, right? And these are the core values of hip hop and hip hop culture. And so we're doing this work. It is a cipher. It is cyclical all the time. So this already connects to what we are doing with the K through 12 guidelines. We also have our community agreements that are up on the K through 12 guidelines. One mic, active listening, respect the cipher, no bullying, and being mindful of our language. All of these things already reflect what exists. And, we're just sort of sharing, adding, remixing, but making sure that, again, all of these things are already things that we are probably doing and maybe haven't named, and things that are explicitly stated within our hip hop education guidelines, which also are usually already explicitly stated in your classrooms, in your learning spaces, in your programs, and in your orgs. So what I would love to do really quick is as we set up those community agreements, I would love if anyone wants to add anything to them. I'm happy to read them in the chat. If you think that there's anything else that we need in order for our space, this Zoom space to function today, is there anything that we're missing? And if there isn't anything that we're missing, you can give me a brr, 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 brr in the chat. I don't know how that's spelled. It might be like PRPR or BRBR, onomatopoeia, you know. We love poetry and we love making sounds. Shout out to Andrew, my beatboxer. We love making sounds, right? So is there anything that you think that we're missing for this space today, particularly? You could drop it in the chat. You can unmute. And it looks like we have a new friend in the room. Hey, friend. Would you like to introduce yourself? No pressure.
First, I just want to apologize. I'm on Midwest time, and so I was like, "It's 1 o'clock." No, it's 12 o'clock for me. So that's why I'm late. My apologies. My name is Desdemona. I work for an arts organization called True Art Speaks. I'm also a teaching artist and performing artist in the realm of spoken word and hip hop, based in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Ashe, thank you. And listen, there's no time like divine time. And I'm also in the Midwest. I'm in Chicago. And let me tell you that Zoom, like during COVID and Zoom, I had a virtual concert that I was late for because they didn't send me the time, like I never had to think about this because like everything I did was in CST and Central Time. So please, we're so grateful to have you in this space. Thank you so much. And I heard that there might be someone else in the room. Does he 1, 2, 3, 4? Okay, I don't see them, but yeah, if new folks come in, please feel free to let me know in the chat. As far as our agreements go, we feeling good about that? Can I get a thumbs up if we're feeling good about our agreements? Boom, boom, bam. Yeah, all right. Let's keep it pushing. We're gonna write. We jumping in. We are jumping in. So please make sure you have a writing. I have my pink journal, obviously, and my pink pen, obviously. What I would love to do is to get us rooted in stream of consciousness writing. If you're not familiar, I'm just going to pause my screen so I can see some reactions first. So if you're not familiar, I hate when it's like a sort of, no, there we go. Artist Way. If you're not familiar, this is the Artist Way book. And if you, can I get if you've worked with Artist Way or heard of Artist Way? I've got beautiful. So Artist Way is a really dope book. If you all are familiar with Doechii, she really attributes her rise to this deserved fame. Woo! She raps. She attributes it to, not all of it, obviously, but some of it to finding this book, The Artist's Way, as she was walking, randomly, someone just threw it out, and she grabbed it and looked through it and started doing the practice. So The Artist's Way is a really incredible book, especially for folks who feel like they've lost their creative self and are trying to rediscover that artistic self. It's literally a spiritual path to higher creativity. I've never completed it all the way, but I've gotten pretty far. I'm looking at all my little scribbled notes in here. I've gotten pretty far into it, and I am making a commitment to myself, and maybe we make a commitment to our group, and as one of our agreements that we, purchase this and peruse through it and see how it can help us, because it's not specifically for, it can be for folks who are want to be professional artists or want to do this professionally, but really it's just about unlocking that inner child and that creativity that may have been lost, right, in the hustle and bustle of life and jobs and this government and children and lack. So this is a really great book that helps you do things like go on artist dates with yourself, that helps you with writing prompts. And so for today, what I would like to do is do something called morning pages. that we are getting directly from this. This is something that I literally do with my students. The first thing we do, it's called morning pages, but I run after school programming, so we'll call it afternoon pages. And so they have their dedicated notebooks. And I'm like, all right, I'll put some lo-fi music on. We're going to do afternoon pages. It's the first thing that we do before we do anything else. And it really is just stream of consciousness writing. She says, in order to retrieve your creativity, you need to find it. I ask you to do this by an apparently pointless process I call the morning pages. You do this through all the weeks of the course, and you truly just write whatever is coming to your mind. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I've had like use. I don't want to do this. This is so silly. As you continue to put pen to paper, physical, like we're not typing anything, we're writing down, you'll see that those things that are back there that are getting in your way start to come out. Your list of things to do, your qualms that you have with the world, your qualms that you have with yourself. So for today, I ask you to just journey with me. We're going to just do 3 minutes of morning pages. It is the afternoon now here, so we can call them afternoon pages. 3 minutes, pen to paper, whatever is coming to your mind, I want you to write it down. Usually there's not a prompt, but for today, I really want to ask the question, what do you need to let go of in order to be fully present in this space today? What are the things that you need to let go of to be fully present in this space today? And as you're writing, let it take you wherever it takes you. We're going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I am going to attempt to play some music. I don't have to pay YouTube because, in this economy, we don't got money to be giving corporations our money. So if you hear a commercial, don't buy that thing. You don't need that thing. You don't need to spend no more money. You have enough things. Of all the things that you have enough things. I'm going to put some lo-fi music on. Actually, let's just do some hip-hop instrumentals. 3 minutes of stream of consciousness writing. What do you need to let go of in order to be fully present in this space? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear the music? Boom, 3 minutes, let's go. love if anyone wants to share how that went for them, what you had to let go of to be in the space. I started writing what I needed to let go of to be in the space, and then I was like, I gotta do the actual thing because I can't be in the space unless I do the thing that I said I needed to let go of. And so then then I had to go do the thing. And so then I'm doing the thing, and then I'm telling you that this process is they call it monkey mind, right? Like you're just gonna be all over the place. But the more that you get into the habit of doing it, the more that this becomes a sacred practice where, like, if I don't do this and dump everything that's here out, I cannot function. I literally cannot because I can't teach the class if I'm thinking about, the laundry that I still didn't get to do, or if I'm thinking about, the email that I haven't sent. Um, so that's sort of how it went for me, is that it was kind of like taking me all over the place. And then I'm writing, and then I'm like, why do I do so much? And now I'm like pontificating on what does help look like for me. So it helps you sort of dig into these deeper themes and ideas and sort of struggles that you're having. I'd love if anyone else would like to share how that went for them. No pressure. You can drop it in the chat as well. Yeah, Andrew.
Um, it was a little tricky. I'll explain something specifically that happened. My brother and his wife that were married for 10 years are getting divorced. And
No.
I just found out about that today. So, like, I'm trying to stay in the moment with all the family things that go on. I'm also, I hate to say it, so the NAFME Symposium's doing something with disabilities and high poverty. And I work in hip hop and neurodivergence, and to not be considered a presenter for it and seeing how it's getting so much reaction of it, I'm like trying to stay focused. That's why I changed to this one, because I was in that and I was like getting so angry about, like, why am there are people researching it, but I literally do it every day. So there was that, and then just like busy thoughts about school stuff and all that. So like, this actually was very good for me. I needed this grounding. I needed a way to feel calm, and it's kind of like releasing it in a effective way and just like being present in the moment and knowing what I can only control what I could do now, sort of thing.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you for allowing us to, hold that for you as well. I'm really sorry to hear
Yeah.
what's happening, but I'm also just really grateful to know that, like, that this practice in this moment helps you, right? Because this is something that is accessible to you, but it's also accessible to anyone that you work with, any of the young people you serve. It's not any, you don't even have to buy the book to access this, right? You literally can, they call it morning pages for a reason, because you wake up with all these thoughts. And if you don't have a way or a place to put them, you carry that throughout your day.
I was
And then
up,
you
yeah.
come to a space and you're like, I'm trying to listen to this workshop, but I also am carrying all of this stuff that's heavy, right? Like that's burdensome, that's, making me think of how I need to exist for other people and then take care of myself. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad to know that, just that time, 3 minutes, right? Everyone has 3 minutes. I hope. Maybe let me not assume. I hope that everyone has 3 minutes, that you can take time for yourself every day to just, maybe it's at the end of the day. Maybe that works better for you. Maybe it's at the beginning. Maybe it's in the middle. Maybe it's multiple times a day. But just knowing that we carry so much up here and it physically weighs us down. If we write it down, we get it out. And it's something that our young people can do as well. Does anyone else want to share their experience, what came up for them when they were writing, how this made them feel? You can drop it in the chat as well if you'd like. Always please know that the chat is also our sacred space and sacred circle to release. Anyone else? Awesome. Great, great, great.
Me
So
too.
yes,
Oh,
Christine,
I
yes,
could share. Yeah.
absolutely.
So I wrote about some of the same things, kind of like thoughts that get in the way. And then I realized, like, for me, sometimes like a space like this, that's a collective space, I really need to let go and fully be present with the group, because sometimes if I'm too caught up in my approach, other people in this.
Thank you so much. You were breaking up a little bit, but I think I heard it. If I'm caught up in my ego, like I can't be present in a space. Is that correct? I think you might be
Yeah,
correct.
exactly.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, thank you for that gift that you gave to the space. And that's literally exactly it, right? Like we need collective spaces. We need to come together. We need community. But when we don't have the opportunity to first let go of the things that we're holding on to personally, all of the things that we're responsible, the things that we have to do, the things that we have to take care of, the people that we have to take care of, it's hard for us to be present in a space. And spaces like this can and are therapeutic, but we also have to, sort of let go of those things before we can be present in these spaces. That's why I wanted to start the workshop off with that, with just some stream of consciousness writing, so that we are ready, right, to jump in and we know what to expect, but also we can approach the work a little bit lighter. So we're gonna keep on moving on, because everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. We love interconnectedness. That's what we do. So I just wanted to share some of the ways that practice, morning pages, afternoon pages, nighttime pages, whenever pages, can tap into a lot of these skills and pedagogies and practices that we want young people to be attaining, right? So we talk about social emotional learning skills. Morning pages, afternoon pages, stream of consciousness writing, free writing is going to help with self-awareness. We saw that just now. I was like, I got to do this. Now I got to do this. Emotional regulation. Our good friend Andrew shared how this sort of helped, and Christine as well. Stress reduction. Patience and reflection. Taking 3 minutes to write and then reflect on how did this make me feel. Identity exploration and clearer communication. I can communicate clearer with you when I can get the thoughts that are scrambled eggs in my brain out. The other thing that I wanted to mention, if you're not familiar with critical positive youth development, it's a framing that's rooted in critical positive youth development, drawing on the work of Sean Ginwright, Pedro Noguera, Ben Kirshner, and other folks who like sort of center youth voice, agency, and healing, along with socio-political awareness. We talk about hip hop, we talking about socio-political always. And so some of the things that CPYD, some of the skills that we're able to tap into with free writing, a stream of consciousness writing, freestyling even is youth voice and agency, strengths-based development, critical consciousness, healing-centered engagement, cultural identity exploration, narrative power, all of these beautiful things. And guess what? It also ties to the hip hop guidelines. One of the things in the guidelines that we have is how hip hop is for mental health and for therapy. We are trying to explore this a lot more. We have our beautiful friend, Dr. Justice Lopez, who does sort of healing centered work. So these are some of the things that we're going to expand and expound upon. But just so we can see, hip hop provides powerful therapeutic tools for emotional expression and healing in educational settings with self-expression, community building, identity formation, trauma processing. These are all sort of things that we can get to if we make this a part of our practice. So the next thing that I want to share is that hip hop is absolutely telling and archiving our stories. The most beautiful thing about hip hop, and the thing for me that hip hop did, was that it allowed me to own my narrative. There's this saying that if you don't tell your story, someone else will. Chances are they're going to get it incredibly wrong. And so with that, I want to share just a little bit of my story. I'm going to sort of breeze through this because we've got some more writing to do. But I want to share just a little bit of my story so that you can understand my why. And why this work is important to me, but also how I use my story to also encourage youth, display vulnerability, show them alternative paths, etc., etc., etc. So before we begin, can you raise your hand, give me a little wave if you've ever felt inadequate? And I'm gonna see this, okay? I see you. Raise your hand if you've ever failed. Same. Raise your hand, give me a wave if you feel like you're not doing enough, even though you're doing every single thing. Thank you. Christine, I like that you raising the actual hand in the Zoom. I like that. Thank you, Christine. I love that offering. Raise your hand if you've ever wanted to give up. I see you. I feel you. I absolutely am you. I was raised in a culture that tells us, calladita te ves más bonita, which means you look prettier when you're quiet.
Right.
Don't challenge things, don't ask questions, take up as little amount of space as possible, put your head down, do the work. You don't have to speak. You don't have to question things. You don't have to challenge systems. You just listen and you do. And so being raised with that kind of stifling framework really didn't help me or didn't allow me to find my own story and find my own truth and find what could be helpful for me, because I was constantly just listening to what other people were saying and being quiet and being calladita. Contrary to popular belief, I was not, oh, this is not working. Hold on one second. Let's see. There we go. Contrary to popular belief, I was not born with this amazing pink hair. I'm actually naturally a redhead, and so Dr. Justice Lopez and I, we cousins from Puerto Rico somewhere, because I was an anomaly. Like a ginger Puerto Rican is just, they used to tell me they found me in the garbage can. They used to tell me I was the milkman's daughter. I'm like, we don't have a milkman. We go to Aldi and we shop at Aldi. There's no milkman coming here and dropping off milk, right? Like, so it was this idea of ni de aquí ni de allá. I didn't fit in anywhere. I didn't fit in when we would go to Puerto Rico and visit. I didn't fit in there because I was the little redheaded stepchild, and here when I would go to school, they couldn't understand how I only spoke Spanish, and I wasn't American enough because I was Puerto Rican, and went to Puerto Rico, I wasn't Puerto Rican enough, and that sort of dichotomy. And so this little girl looks outwardly happy, but she wasn't. She was going through so many things, and we don't have a therapist on hand, so I'm not going to get into the myriad of traumas. I'll just say that my therapist earns her paycheck, but this little girl is being told to take up as little space as possible, to be quiet, to not share her voice, to not question things. And so that really impacted me in a way that caused me to rebel, to be frank. And so I look at this picture of myself and I look at how angry she is compared to the young woman in the picture before. This is actually my arrest record that I had to get because I wanted to get my record expunged. More on that later. And I truly look at this girl and I'm like, who is she? She's trauma ridden. This wasn't a time when we're talking about mental health. This wasn't a time where going to therapy was even normalized. If you went to therapy, it's because you were crazy. And what's interesting is this is exactly around the time that I found hip hop and hip hop culture. You might not be able to see it, but down at the bottom here, there's a 50 on my shirt because I'm actually taking my mugshot with a 50 Cent shirt on. Because in my formative years, and I'm aging myself now, but in my formative years as an MC, 50 Cent, and mostly G Unit and mostly Lloyd Banks and his lyricism. That was the sort of the rap group that was, informing that time for me, and also encouraging me to push my pen and tell my own story. So as I'm sort of finding hip hop, I'm also finding my rebellion and trying to figure out where my voice fits into all of that. And so you would think I would have learned my lesson when they took me to jail. My mom was a crossing guard at the time. They took me to the literal precinct that crossing guards would check in at. Listen, leave me there. Just leave me there, throw away the key, because jail is no comparison for mommy's chancletazo. And if you don't know what a chancla is or a chancletazo, that's mom's house slipper. I actually have one as an example for you today. And they throw it, it hits you across the head, it lands back in their hand miraculously. I don't understand it, could never understand it. It's science, but I'm like, leave me there because I would rather be here than face Esther Velez's wrath. And you would have thought I learned my lesson. But no, the rebellion just kept on. I was drinking, I was smoking, I was hanging with the wrong crowds. But at this time is also when I'm finding hip hop and finding this culture that's allowing me to share my story and that's not judging me for who and how I am and how I'm showing up in the world. But I didn't learn my lesson. And I had to learn my lesson in 2004 when I was in a car accident that left me in a coma. The car literally hit another car face first, wrapped around a pole, burst into flames. I was with people that I should absolutely have not been. I was doing things I absolutely should not have been. And waking up in Cook County Hospital, which doesn't exist here in Chicago anymore, but with nurses all around me and them giving me a mirror so that I can see a reflection of myself. And this is what I saw. I was unrecognizable. I didn't know who this person was. I could not quite comprehend why I was there. But I realized in that moment, a lot of people don't have that moment when you realize everything needs to change. That was the moment that I realized if I don't change, I'm going to become another statistic from Chicago. I will never reach the greatness that I know deep down in my spirit, I know that I'm meant to reach. And so that fire allowed me to rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And this is what I would consider my rebirth. And what did my rebirth look like? And mind you, there's no pinkies harmed in the making of this photo. Don't worry. This is actually the cover to my album Phoenix that I'll be releasing prayerfully in 2026. So you are getting an exclusive look at it. This was actually photographed in an actual field that they had burned down for regrowth. So it was absolutely poetic. And so rising from that fire, reviving from the ashes looked a lot of different ways for me. One of the ways that it looked was becoming the first in my family to graduate from college with honors. It looked like me being able to take classes that helped me understand, right, the systems that were in place that were impacting me and people I loved, allowed me to take my first history of Puerto Rico class so I could understand what colonization meant and all of the injustices that were happening. It allowed me to take classes on poetry and feminism and Black studies and writing and really framed my worldview. I always say it's the most expensive piece of paper that I never had to show anybody because people never asked me for it after. But it was more so the experience that allowed me to see the world in the way that I needed to see it in order to enact and impact the change that needed to be enacted. My rebirth looked like me starring in a production called the Rosina Project, where we take the Barber of Seville and we turned it into the opera, the Barber of Seville, and turned it into a hip opera where I play Rosina, the lead character, and she is absolutely Boricua and feminist and a dope MC. And it's just really dope because I had never acted before that, except when I was telling one boyfriend that I like him better than the other boyfriend. Fake news, y'all. Painfully single, so send your rich husbands my way. I became the 2022 Best Hip Hop Artist winner for the Chicago Reader. I am the Brother Mike Award winner for Excellence in Youth Mentorship. As Dr. Justice Lopez mentioned, I am a U.S. Hip Hop Cultural Ambassador. I've traveled to 5 countries overseas with the State Department using hip hop pedagogy and hip hop diplomacy all over the world. It allowed me to see that hip hop is alive and exists in literally every single country across the world. My rebirth looked like performing at TEDx Chicago on the 50th anniversary of hip hop and paying homage to hip hop. Now, we know hip hop is older than 50 years, but you know, we love us a little celebratory date. I was featured on NPR. I'm a part of the Recording Academy now. I'm actually also a part of the Education Committee for the Recording Academy and the Membership Committee. I performed at the Chicago Democratic National Convention. I forgot to mention that 2 weeks ago, I was awarded the Chicago Women's History Center Ida B. Wells Activist Award just a couple of weeks ago. Oh, it's not showing up. Well, what some folks here even don't know is that I started my own hip hop nonprofit. For some reason, the Canva is not canvaing like it needs to Canva, but I am the, I'll show it to y'all later because the The logo is dope. I am the Cypher Equity Organizer, the CEO of the Hip Hop Cypher Movement, which is my own hip hop nonprofit that I soft launched on my birthday, my 40th birthday last month. I know I don't look a day over 21. And we'll be launching to the public on November 28th. And as Dr. Justice Lopez mentioned, I am now the director for K-12 education at the Hip Hop Education Center, which has been nothing less and nothing short than a joy to be able to continue doing this work with someone who I revere. Martha Diaz is just my GOAT. She's the greatest of all time, my mentor, and a beautiful human that I'm so grateful to be working under. I promise I'll show y'all my logo for the Hip Hop Cypher Movement, which is my nonprofit that I'm launching next month. But most importantly, I'm celebrating almost 15 years of therapy, and that is the best part of my story because, as we said with Morning Pages, if we don't allow ourselves to just remove the muck and the mud and the gunk that we're going through, and so that we can get to the work that we're supposed to do, it's impossible. It's very hard to do. And so I'm super grateful to have not only a therapist, but also to infuse and embed mental health and mental wellness into everything that I do, into my hip hop practice and into my everyday, day-to-day practice. And so I just want to reiterate that sometimes I still feel inadequate. Sometimes I still fail. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. Sometimes I want to give up. That I don't know what the answer to that is, but I say that because I think that people sort of see me and see all my accolades and awards, and they're like, oh, she got it. She's good. She did it. And, I have to be honest that I still feel all of these things. And I understand that these are systemic problems, right? The world is made to make me feel this way. But what I vow is that I will never be calladita again. I will never be a quiet girl again. I will take up all the space. I will be as pink as I want. I will be as ratchet and academic. Shout out to Dr. Chris Emden. I will be all the things because I know that my existence is resistance and who I am in the world is necessary. And so I want to say that because I want to make sure that you all know that as well, because I saw you raising your hands and I understand that feeling. But also, you're so dope. You're so beautiful. You're so brilliant. Like, don't ever let anyone tell you differently. And I'm grateful to be in this space with you so we could do this work together. You now have a community with me, and I'm grateful to be here with each and every one of you. The shortest distance between two people is a story, and hip hop is storytelling. Hip hop is archiving. Hip hop is the way that we're able to reclaim, right, spaces and reclaim what is rightfully ours. And so I hope that you feel a little closer to me, and I hope that you understand that this is what we're doing when we're using hip hop pedagogy in our classrooms. We're allowing young kids like baby Pinqy, teenage Pinqy, who was angry, who was hurt, who was traumatized, the space and the capacity and the love and the radical care to exist and to create art that is meaningful to them and to tell their stories. So I just want to take a second, take a quick breather, because that was a lot. It was a lot for me. Maybe that was a lot for you. Maybe there were things in my story that made you think of things of your story. So I just want to take a quick second to just breathe together. And then we're going to get into some more writing because, we are going to be doing lots of writing. So if you will, and I'm just going to pause this so I can see your beautiful faces. And if we could just take, can we just shake it off real quick? Just shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Let's stretch it out, stretch it out. And if you could just put your hands over your beautiful hearts for me. And just give me a big, deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. One more big, deep breath in and out. Just know that I'm holding space for each and every one of you, that I'm grateful to you for being here, and that you're so brilliant, so beautiful, and so amazing. So, speaking of storytelling, we go right again. And this time we are going to use lists. I love lists. I use lists all the time. And I'm not talking about grocery lists. I'm talking about just, ideas. If you were to see my notepad on my iPhone, or if you were to see any of these, they're filled with just ideas and lists and things. And so lists are something that we can use with our young people if they're stuck. If you're like, okay, I want you to write a story about your life, and they're like, bruh, because they say bruh, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what I'm gonna write. I don't really know about my life. Everything is cool. Everything is great. Lists are a really, really dope way for us to help them to brainstorm, creative ideas, brainstorm things, people's places, sounds, sights that will help them to end up creating. Maybe it's raps, maybe it's poems, maybe it's an essay. So what I would love for you to do is go ahead and grab your writing journal. We're doing pen to paper again. And I'm just going to give you a couple of sort of topics, and I want you to go where you go. The thing that I'm going to ask you to do the most, though, is to give me specifics. I know the word is specifics, but I like to say Pacific, like specifically. I want you to give me specifics, aka specifics, right? So if you're giving me an answer, I want you to go into details, colors, sounds, sights, corners, cross streets, okay? I don't want you to just say, if I say, give me a list out foods that you like, I don't want you to just say chicken. I want you to say chicken tikka masala, or I want you to say chicken tinga tacos, right? Like, give me the beauty in this, and the beauty in writing, period, is in the details, all right? So if we are ready for lists, I am going to just take a look at your beautiful faces real quick. If everyone's ready for the list, give me a thumbs up. Boom, boom, pow. All right, let's do it. First list: places that made you. Places that made you. And mind you, you're just going to keep writing until I tell you to stop. So name as many as you can. So spots you went to as a kid, corner store, grandma's house, after school program. Streets or intersections that defined your world. Everyday rituals, the bus stop, the steps of your building, the stoop. We don't have stoops in Chicago, and it makes me sad. The bodega, we don't have bodegas either. We don't got bodega cats. It makes me really sad. Places you weren't supposed to be at, but you were at anyways. And places that felt like sanctuary. So again, our first list is places that made you. All right. Does anyone want to share places that made you? Anything that's coming to mind? You could also drop it in the chat if you'd like. If anyone wants to share places that made you. When I think of places I wasn't supposed to be at, my mom gave me money for keyboard lessons, and I took the money and went to get drum lessons instead. I don't know how to play the drums, so please don't ever ask me to play the drums. But because the drummer was a woman drummer from another church, and I thought it was so cool that she was drumming, and I never saw that before, so I would take money and go to her for lessons. And funny story, full circle moment, she actually became my drummer for a while. She left the church too, and then just started rocking out with me. So she was my drummer whenever I would have performances. How cool and how full circle. Anybody else want to share places that made you, specifically corners, stores? And you can also throw it in the chat if you'd like. Anyone want to share? Yeah, Andrew.
So I know it's going to sound cheesy, but that started my hip hop journey was going through Yonkers and meeting the community of people there, learning about the real culture, like outside of just rap music or the genre itself, and just meeting people that made me feel I was always hanging out with people that always felt like they put me down. And
Mm.
then I now found through hip hop the idea of people uplifting me or seeing the glass half full and not half empty.
Ashay, thank you for sharing that. And Yonkers, like, I went there just because of 50 Cent. Like when I went to New York, I was like, I gotta go to Yonkers. I was like, what the heck am I doing here? Like I don't know what I was doing there, but it was so I didn't know anybody there, but it was so cool. Those places that even when you don't know them yourself, but places that, this is a good addition to the list, places that you maybe want to have gone to, or, like Hawaii for my mom. She always says every birthday she wants to go to Hawaii. Girl, I ain't got Hawaii money. One day I will though. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else want to share places? Oh, I see Janelle's Dance Academy. I love that specific. And if you want to get more specific on the corner of this and this, or with the rusty chair in the front, or like the beauty is in the details, and we're going to use these lists again later. So please know the beauty's going to be in the details. Okay, list number 2. Get ready. People who raised or shaped you. People who raised or shaped you. It could be elders, cousins, siblings. And Ethan, I see you just came back. We're just writing lists down so you can. Awesome, thank you. So you've got cousins, aunties, that loud auntie. I'm the loud auntie. All of my students are call me Titi, and I'm definitely the loud auntie, the quiet cousin. Your best friend growing up, that teacher, right? That really influenced you. Someone who loved you, someone who challenged you, someone you admired or imitated. And again, these don't have to be people that you actually ever even met in real life. Go ahead and take 1 minute to write your list of people who raised or shaped you. Let's have a little music going while we're writing our list. And if anyone wants to share, you can drop in the chat, just so we can keep going with the list for the sake of saving time. If you want to drop in the chat, and I'll read them out. People who raised or shaped you. Go ahead and drop them in the chat.
Introducing the only
Oh, and there go the ads.
prescription hair
If anyone wants to contribute to my YouTube Premium Fund, we're always here for it. All right. Stevie Wonder, wow. Yeah, and again, beautiful. Thank you. And for me, again, as I mentioned, 50 Cent, G-Unit, don't even have to be people you've ever met before, that, truly shape us. And it shows how musicians and artists shape us. Miss File, elementary art teacher who saw my talent and gave me opportunities to study more deeply. Beautiful, thank you. The Cookie Monster, yo, shout out to the Cookie Monster. Like from Sesame Street, right? This is not like your homie, the Cookie Monster. You're like, oh, no, actually, it's my homie. We used to call him the Cookie Monster. Beautiful, thank you. All right, next list. Get ready, get ready, get ready. The rules, advice, or superstitions that grew you. The rules, advice, or superstitions that grew you. Don't come in and out of my house. Take off your shoes before you walk in. If you put your purse on the floor, you'll never have money. That's why you're always broke. Get home before the street lights. Okay, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes progress. That's a good one. Go ahead and give you a minute for this list. The rules, advice, or superstitions that grew you. And if you have any you want to drop in the chat, you can. I don't know why my mom used to tell me that if you keep the lights on in the car, the police are gonna pull you over, like that little middle light that's in the car. I never understood. I'm like, there's no way. And to this day, I'm afraid to turn that light on because I think that the police are gonna pull me over. She has scarred me for life. I don't know if anyone else's parents ever told them that. That's just wild. Ooh, be nice to yourself. That's a beautiful one. Thank you. All right, we're gonna take about 10 more seconds to finish this list of, and if you want to share any, you can absolutely drop them in the chat. An unspoken modeling of what respect looks like. And sometimes what disrespect looks like, right? Like you're like, that's respect, or you respect your elders, but they don't have to respect me. And that's something we then take into, our lives as educators, is sharing power with young people. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, our next list: foods that built you. Meals you ate at home, foods tied to family rituals, snacks from the corner store, Sunday meals, celebratory meals, comfort foods, foods specific to your heritage, your culture, your family, foods that built you. Bagel Bites. Shout out to Bagel Bites. I haven't heard about Bagel Bites in a minute. I used to love Bagel Bites. And the little pizza roll, the Totina pizza rolls, boy, on a budget. That was a gourmet meal. Yes. Thank you. Mayonnaise sandwiches when we didn't have anything, just a little bit of mayonnaise and that's it. Just cheese. Hot Cheetos. We know all of our young people come into the room with these hot Cheeto fingers and you're like, bruh, that red food coloring not gonna do nothing nice to you eventually. You gonna have to Kid Cuisine with the penguin, yo, with the little brownie. Yes. Peanut butter and jelly, a good PB&J. We used to have white rice and ketchup. If we didn't have money, white rice and ketchup, maybe some Spam, and that was our meal. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, or white rice and beans every day, white rice and beans. Now I would kill for a plate of white rice and beans, like realizing, right, like what we took for granted when we were younger. Ooh, sour watermelon gummies, yes. You remember those little candies that were like cigarettes? Like, what were we doing to children? Chuletas, huepa. Good chuleta will absolutely put you right to sleep. Yes, Tangy Taffy, thank you. All right, our last list. Pivotal moments or worldview shapers. Pivotal moments or worldview shapers. You heard from my story, the car accident. You heard all of, graduating from college, being the first in my family. Moments that something clicked, something changed, perspective changed. When you learned a lesson, when you messed up and grew. Moments when you felt scared. Moments when your world got bigger or smaller, or when you realized who you were becoming. Pivotal moments and worldview shapers is your next list. Drop them in the chat. Watching my sister get in trouble. My goodness, being in a mental hospital twice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, the AIDS epidemic in the 80s, huge. Yeah. And then I want you to think of too, when we're thinking of these pivotal moments, also moments of joy, right? Like, I think sometimes we're so, we just have such hard life experiences that the things that we remember the most, and there's brain science tied to that, is like these sort of traumatic moments. But I want to try to have you stretch your moments and think of those joyous moments that changed your life, or like Andrew, when you mentioned going to Yonkers and getting accepted by hip hop folks there, like that's also a pivotal moment as well. Thank you all for sharing. We'll do about 30 more seconds if you want to drop any others in the chat. Alrighty. Beautiful. Being asked to teach acrobats as a teen. Yep, there you go. The first moment you get to share power, right? The first moment that you get to, maybe that started your journey as an educator. First time meeting the Almighty Zulu Nation, yeah, or your first Almighty Zulu Nation meeting. I know that was beautiful and affirming, right? Like, I'm so glad that we're sharing, both and, right? Because the bad things that happen to us really frame who we become, right? I ended up becoming this educator, mentor, etc., because I didn't have that. But also thinking of the moments of joy that we have in our life, especially now, right? Always, but especially now with everything happening in the world, it's really important that we channel and tap into that joy. So thank you so much for sharing with me. Oh, come on, Zoom. There we go. All right, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sort of journeying deep with me. We are going to use this list in a bit, so please make sure that you have it. But we're tying it back to the K through 12 hip hop guidelines. Brr, 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 brr. Because all of these very descriptive things, and that's why I said the beauty is in the details, is a literary device in hip hop, right? Is imagery and narrative, painting detailed mental pictures, constructing compelling stories, transporting listeners into the song's world and experiences, and in this case, into your world and experiences. As you're sharing these things with me, I'm picturing that Zulu Nation meeting, and I'm wondering, what did everyone look like? What was on the agenda? Was there food? Who did you meet there? As I'm thinking of teaching the acrobats class, I'm thinking of, what was the first thing that you taught? And did you feel like you really had ownership over that? I wonder what you were wearing that day. When I think about Andrew and you meeting, folks, hip hop folks in Yonkers, I'm wondering, were you already beatboxing? Were you not? Is that when you started? What kind of knowledge did you already have about hip hop culture, right? So the more descriptive that we get, we're already adhering to and we're already following some of the guidelines that exist that have already and always existed. We just put it into one format. So just know that everything we're doing is tying back. And these lists are really cool things you could do with your young people, really cool things you could do with adults, right? We found so many moments of connection. Remember, the shortest distance between two people is a story. We just found so many connections within each other, right? From the beginning of me sharing my story and saying, have you ever felt this? Have you ever felt that? All the way to, oh my gosh, yeah, the penguin, microwave meal that was probably so not healthy for you, and the little smoky cigarettes, toy like candy that we had, and the gummy worms, and like we're finding points of connection. So this is a really cool thing that you can use with your young people that will help you then let them understand literary devices in hip hop and how they can use those descriptions, but also just brainstorm different things that they can add into pieces. Maybe there's something that you wrote and you're like, ooh, that's the title for a song, or I want to write a whole poem about this particular person or teacher or experience. So we're always tying back to the guidelines. And I just want to really quickly, for the sake of time, We in the guidelines we have emceeing guidelines. We also have poetry competency. So I just want to quickly go over poetic devices. If you have, if maybe you've heard this already, maybe you haven't heard about these since you were in college. I just want to go through them quickly and tie them into hip hop culture, and then we're gonna write a bit more. So. Um, Starting with metaphor simile, comparing two things. A metaphor says one thing is another directly, while a simile uses like or as explicitly. So we got our famous time to get paid, blow up like the World Trade. Go ahead and drop in the chat if you know who that is. But we're comparing, blowing up literally like blowing up as an artist to blowing up like the World Trade Center. So if you know who that is in the chat, let me know. Name that rapper. We have I Don't Sleep because sleep is the cousin of death. Again, the first one is simile because we have like. The second one would be metaphor. Don't sleep because sleep is the cousin of death, comparing sleep to death. Name that rapper if you know. Alliteration, repeating the same consonant sounds at the start of a word. That in the middle of little did we know that we riddled two middlemen who didn't do diddly, right? Love one of my favorite raps of all time, one of my favorite rappers of all time. I just did a video on him. Name that rapper in the chat if you know who it is. I can't, for some reason, when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the chat as well, which makes me sad. So I'm hoping that y'all are getting these names if you know them. Wordplay and double entendre. Clever uses of language, puns, double meanings, and flips on words. Real G's move in silence, like lasagna. The G in lasagna is silent. Real G's, real gangsters. One of my favorite double entendres. If you know who that is, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Allusion, a reference to another work, event, or cultural figure. You can't match this. Rapper slash actress, more powerful than two Cleopatras. Bomb graffiti on the tomb of Nefertiti. We've got Cleopatra, we've got Nefertiti. We're alluding to these other folks. And then imagery, like we talked about before, vivid language that appeals to the senses. T-bone steak, cheese, eggs, and Welch's grape. Name that rapper. We're using imagery there. So tying it to the hip hop guidelines, these are our poetry skill developments framework. So our competency level for literary techniques, poetic devices. In emerging stage, they would be able to recite multiple lines of poetry and explore literary techniques, which is where we're starting. Intermediate, they can create completed works demonstrating basic understanding of the poetic devices. And then advanced, they'll be able to create masterful works illustrating advanced understanding of multiple poetic devices. So we always tie it back to the frameworks, but for now, we're gonna flex. What I would love for you all to do, some more writing, and all of this is going to come together, I promise. I want you to take a quick second. Rap, as we know, is a braggadocious culture. I'm talking about myself because I'm the greatest, I'm the dopest, I'm the cutest, I'm the flyest. I got the most money, even though we know that's not true right now, but we are manifesting abundance. As we know, like rap is about flexing, right? It's about hyping yourself up because, baby, if you don't hype yourself up, nobody will, okay? I think of Big Boy. I'm cooler than a polar bear's toenails. What? Like Megan Thee Stallion, he said he a dog. Okay, well, I'm a vet, right? These are all them using poetic devices to flex. So I want you to take, maybe 3 minutes to write a quick flex about yourself, and it could be using any of these poetic devices. You could use a metaphor, a simile, allusion. You can use imagery. You can use a double entendre. I just want you to flex on yourself. And maybe if it's as simple as I'm just going to do a metaphor, compare yourself to something. I just want you to flex real quick because we did a lot of brain work. We did a lot of, feeling work. We did a lot of, trauma processing. And I just want us to flex real quick on ourselves. So take a quick 3 minutes. I'm going to put an instrumental on, and I want you to write a quick flex about yourself that you're just going to drop in the chat. You're just going to drop it in the chat. A quick flex on yourself. It could be a metaphor. It could be a double entendre. It could be alliteration. Any of those things. a quick flex about yourself using these poetic devices. I'll put some music on and we'll have 3 minutes on the clock for you to create your poetic flex. Let's go.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it.
About 1 more minute and then go ahead and drop your flex in the chat. Drop that flex in the chat. Flex on yourself. Brag on yourself. You are beautiful. You are brilliant. Go ahead and drop them in the chat when you're ready. Go ahead and drop them in your chat when you're ready. about 30 more seconds. Let's get some more in the chat. Let's get some more in the chat. Yeah, let's go MCs. Let's go MCs. All right, I'm gonna read some of these in the chat. Yo, y'all got bars. I'm gonna drop mine in the chat too. All right, so I've got yo, I'm so dope. These jokers want a slow talk. I get them so stumped, but they don't choke though. Longevity is in my flavor. I eat them like a slow poke. Ahead of the class, I ain't a slow poke. I take a slow poke, holes in her hypothesis of me. I ain't going nowhere. This is the word of the day. This is the word of the. Hold on, we're gonna put this in the chat a couple of times. Y'all better get with the program. Y'all better get with the program. And this is the thing about emceeing, right? Is like we get to do beautiful things with words, and like vocabulary is my favorite thing to teach when I'm doing emceeing, because you're going to get reading comprehension scores going up. You're going to get literacy going up. You're going to get, because we're doing this through culturally responsive programming. Cav guy, I'm not afraid of things I don't already know, because if you don't try new things, there's no way I can grow. Mic drop. Oh, I see. So I think Justice has found the horn. So I guess this is going to be our purr officially in the chat. It looks like the little, is that a French horn? The one with the little circle? Is that what that is? Listen, I don't know about horns, but I know a French horn, okay? I move like a runner on an obstacle course, going over hurdles through the muck and around the corner to reach the finish line. I'm a winner. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are a winner. I may come from wealth and I may be white, but this white boy ain't quitting, and I'm still going to shine my light. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Academic analysis seen clear. I bring ideas together like they're birds of a feather. You better drop them rhymes. I'm quitting rap after this. I'm quitting rap. And mine that I wrote extremely quickly, because I was like, let me not be a part of this as well. I have pretty perfect, perfectly in alignment, painting pain into power. My presence is the assignment. I gotta give myself a we gotta do a little alliteration with the letter P. Amazing. Yo, y'all are so brilliant. Let's keep it moving, because we have 10 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we get to as much as we can before I let you go and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Y'all just flexed on yourselves, as you should. There is no one more dope than you in the world, and I'm so glad you exist, and I'm so glad that you're able to use this pedagogy to help you flex on yourself. But sometimes you don't need words. Sometimes you just need vibes. Sometimes you don't need words. Sometimes you just need vibes. So let's talk about bars real quick before we end the day, because we talked about poetry, we talked about poetic devices, we talked about storytelling, but we got to get to the bars, right? Because in hip hop, one of the elements of hip hop is emceeing, which you all already are, clearly already ahead of the game as MCs, masters of ceremonies, mic controllers. And so as we're using this in our classrooms, it's just important to know about bars, not where you go when your young people or your kids or your partner is driving you crazy and everybody knows your name because you have several drinks. But let's talk about rap bars, because this is the last thing that we're going to do. As we're talking about this sort of creative writing, how do we use that and manifest that language in hip hop culture when it comes to emceeing? And the bars are just the lines of rap. If you don't already know, it's just your lines of rap. When someone says bars after you've said something really prolific, it's because you had several really amazing and high quality lines of rap. And so just some quick math. I'm not a mathematician, but we can just do some quick math. I was made to be really cute, rap really well, not do math, but 4 measures is 1 bar. So as you're counting on a beat, with young people, usually I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2. Usually in person, we would do some in-person bar counting. But again, Zoom is zooming the way it zooms. Just really important to know that that could also be double time. It gets complicated, but one of the fun things I like to do for young people with counting bars is we do musical chairs, and I'll call out the number of bars, 7, and they have to sit down at that number of bars, and it helps them sort of count, have fun, move around while they're counting bars. Hip hop math, every 2 bars have to rhyme, so your first 2 lines have to rhyme. The third one doesn't have to, but it does have to rhyme with the fourth. So just every 2 bars are rhyming. And then when we talk about hip hop songwriting and we talk about verses, we started off with 16 bar verses. They've sort of manifested to 12, sort of gone to 8. The reason why attention spans have shortened. But there's so many folks that break these rules. There are people that have 48 bars. There are people that have 4. There are people that have 2 and they repeated the whole song, right? Hip hop is a constantly growing and evolving culture, so it changes all the time. But this is sort of the basis on hip hop songwriting and as far as your verses. And then when you have a hook, it's usually 4 bars repeated twice. But again, take that, flip it, reverse it, do what you will with it. So all of this that we just talked about is in the Hip Hop Education Center's K-12 guidelines. This is one of our competency levels, right? Rhythm skills, counting bars with steady rhythm and composition, writing and reciting multiple rhyming lines. So again, everything always connects back to the guidelines. And so I want to play real quick. We already sort of did this, and I wasn't sure the level that we would be at as far as writing. It sounds like we're sort of, much higher advanced than this sort of prompt, which is a prompt that I usually use with first-time hip-hop songwriters. This is really good with little kids. Fill in the blank rhymes is a really good way to get really young people to start writing raps, right? Having them fill in the rhyme words, having them pick rhyme words from a word bank at the top, etc. This is what I like to call my 4 for 4. So it's 4 bars in 4 minutes. But because you already, everyone here has a good understanding, at least in my eyes, of, figurative language and poetic language and big words, okay? Because I'm gonna need to go figure out how to pronounce that word you put in your rap. It was so good. I want us to just take a quick, let's maybe do 3 minutes. And using everything that we've done, your flex, your lists, I want you to write a quick 4 bars about yourself. And again, this ties to everything we did from the very beginning, from everything we let go of with the morning pages to the sort of poetic devices and the flexes to the lists that we created. I want you to go back and use all that wealth of knowledge to just write a quick 4 bars. Okay, we're gonna also share those in the chat, and then I would like us to hang out for just a second. I have a quick survey, some things coming up, some things that'll be coming to you via email. So if you'll just hang with me for a second, let's do 4 minutes, 4 bars using everything that you have. And we're gonna share those 4 bars in the chat, or if you want to read it aloud, I'll actually take that as well. So 4 minutes on the clock. I'll put some instrumentals on. 4 bars, full. And actually, Wendy's doesn't even have the 4 for 4 anymore, because in this economy, it's called a biggie bag now, but biggie bag raps don't sound the same as a 4 for 4. So we're gonna do a quick 4 for 4, and we'll be back in 4 minutes. Yes, Andrew, I'll actually put back up the 4 for 4 fill in the blank, and you can use that if you want as an example. Put it back up here for you. It's not letting me share it. Let's see. not letting me share, but I'll just type out an example in the chat, Andrew. Hopefully that helps. I think when I'm playing music, I can't share my screen. So here's a longer example in the chat, Andrew, of that fill in the blank. So my name is blank. I like blank. This year blank, but next, and then the last one is a full blank you can fill in. So here's an example in the chat for mine, and I'll give you one that's a little bit more simple. Just give me a quick second. You could also do it shorter. You can do, my name is Andrew Wang. I like to do my thing. This year I'm teaching beatbox. Next year, etc. I don't want to do your rap for you. And that was not sounding good. Wang Thang is a good one. I'm like, what else rhymes with Wang? Sang, you could say sang. Tang, ooh, tang, yes. Wu Tang. Ashe. All right, we are hitting the 2 o'clock mark. If y'all are cool with sticking around for about 5 minutes, can I get a thumbs up? We started a little late as well. Perfect, perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have your 4 bars and you want to share them, you absolutely can in the chat, or if you want to read them, you absolutely can. Thank you, Christine, for the thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. All right, we got some raps in the chat. Let's go. We got raps in the chat. 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 If anyone wants to read theirs, give me like a wave. Okay, Andrew, let's go. Anyone else want to read theirs? Okay, that's Demona. Let's go.
Wait,
Beautiful.
you want this to the beat, or am I just doing
No,
this?
we don't, because I think that YouTube, like, let me just stop the music. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. that was it.
There's not, that's the one thing that Zoom has not been able to figure out yet is how to do, like, I'll try to rehearse with my students on Zoom and the audio never catches up. Like, they need to figure that out. So I would have loved to have it over beats. But again, this is just a precursor to the in-person, because when we do in-person, like, there's so much more that we could do in person, so many breakout groups we can have, so many different things that we could do. So, just know this is the Zoom version, but we're working on lots of different things that we can have this to happen in person, for us to come to you, for you to come to us, for us to meet in the middle. So let's start with Andrew. You want to read yours for us?
Yeah, I forgot one word, but whatever. My name is Andrew Wang. You could call me Mr. Hip Hop. I like inspiring the youth, and I won't ever stop. I put words to action to change the future and to get satisfaction to those I will nurture.
Can we get some snaps? I need some snaps in the chat for Andrew Wang doing his thing. Thank you, Andrew. That was dope. Ashe, I appreciate that. Beatbox and rap. Y'all better watch out. It's just multi-talented. Ms. Desdemona, would you like to go?
My name is Desdemona, and I love my life. This year, I'm fully committed to write and write. Gratitude shown for those who helped me grow. Next year, I'll sell the light. Next year, I'll share the light from the love I've been shown.
Let's go! Let me get some snaps in the chat. Yeah, look at Andrew had to throw his hat. He threw his hat. He threw his hat. Listen, come on, y'all. Let's go. Does anyone else want to read theirs? Okay. Are y'all
You
cool?
mind?
Yep. Come on, let's go,
Please,
Rhythm. Let's
please.
go.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. My name is Prism, and I love spitting wisdom on the rhythm. Hold on, I'm lost it. My name is Prism. I love spitting wisdom on the rhythm. And this year, I'm gonna be kicking it for a living. Bear witness to the sickest spitters that ever did it, and I'm just getting started. So imagine when I finish with it.
Let's go. Let's freaking go. Y'all got all the air horns from Dr. Justice in the chat. The little French air horns. Pew, 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 pew. It's like a nicer burr, 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 burr. Ashe. Whoa. Anyone else want to share? I just want to make sure that, I'm offering space if you'd like to. And no problem if not. Okay, I see we got a new friend in the house. Rita, listen, no worries about time. Divine timing is the best timing. But came in dropping bars. Confused on time. I arrived late, ready to receive and participate. My name's Rita. Sometimes it takes longer. In the end, the process makes me stronger. You better. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna drop these bars real quick. Unfortunately, Rita, we're at the end of the session. I think some things were happening with, at least on my end, posting on social media. Like my story just posted, so I think people are joining from that, so I apologize, but we're gonna definitely do this again. I just have to read Ethan's because this is so funny. Ethan, can I read it out loud? Is that okay with you? Is that cool?
Yeah, I'll read it if I can read it.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
All right, Cookie Monster, Teletubbies, and Zaboomafoo. I learned from PBS. No, I'm not a fool. How to care for others like a kindness machine. Just let me cook like a kid cuisine.
Go! Use that callback from our list, right? Listen, y'all. There's no okay. So Rita, you're on a cruise. Listen, I'm jealous. Rita, take me with you. Put me in your suitcase. This was amazing, incredible. I'm so grateful. This couldn't have gone any better. Just a couple of things before. Unfortunately, we have to go. I hate that for me, but I'm grateful that you all were able to be here. Is it just that my Zoom just don't want to? There we go. Okay, beautiful. There were a few other things that I wanted to do, but we are right at time. I just wanted to share my gratitude with each of you for being here. This is my information if you want to find me. As you know, I'm also going to be the director of K through 12 education and engagement with the Hip Hop Education Center. So please follow me. This has my social media, my email. For anything that you need, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing in an email several resources, which include a hip hop education book list that I created with links to both purchasing, not on Amazon and then on Amazon, because we're not trying to give them any more money, but I understand sometimes we got to get things quickly. So there will be a list of books there. I have a songwriting series for K through 12. I think it's more geared towards smaller kids. So if y'all want to access that with Music Will, that will be there. I'll also resend the link to the guidelines. I'll be reaching out with other information as well. Any other resources that you think you might need, I'll add to that list and I'll send that out by Monday. Anything else that Martha might want to add to that as well. But before we go, I would just love it if we can take a quick survey about today. This just helps us to improve programming, to see what helped, to see what we could do better. So if you just take a quick 3-4 minutes to fill this out for me. And then once I get your response, I will add you to the list of the email that I'm going to send out. I also want to say that on the bottom of this survey, there is you can toggle yes if you want to be a part of, and I know that this was sent out in another survey, but we want to do a follow-up. If you want to be a part of helping us to continue defining and redefining these K through 12 hip hop guidelines, there's a pilot program that we're going to be doing where you'll have first access to a lot of stuff, access to the workshops, access to information, updated guidelines. So please fill out this form, and at the bottom of that form, you just toggle yes that you want to be a part of that, and we will include you on that list. So if you just take a couple minutes, I'll put on an instrumental to fill out this survey really briefly for us. If you want to fill it out on your own time, you also can, but I just want to give some space now because I know sometimes, we do other things and we forget. I can also send that survey in the email that I send out, but I'll just play some instrumentals for those that can. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Other than that, I look forward to continuing to work with you. I thank you for being here, for being amazing and excellent participants, the dopest MCs that Zoom done ever seen. And so I'll give us some time to fill out the survey. And again, if there's any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll hang around until about 2:15. Thank you all so much. You're brilliant, you're beautiful, you're amazing. And I hope I get to see you soon in the real world so I can give you a big hug. Ashe, have a good Saturday, everyone. Thank you, Prism. I appreciate you. Thank you for dropping them bars on us. Be safe, be safe. Andrew.